Hello, everyone. It's Yogi here. Wow. Hello, hello. I hope um, you're ready for a spot of stitching with me today. And it's Thursday tonight. So, happy Thursday, okay? And I hope you've been doing really, really well. And yes, I I've been teaching a lot for the last few days, okay? So I miss you all, and I hope you miss me too. I know it's been pretty challenging with the evenings, particularly for this summer. For some reason, there's just a lot going on here. But hopefully, things are going to settle down in September. That's normally the case here. And yes. So today we're back for a spot of stitching. I hope you're ready. And this is my piece, project of my choice. And this piece, I was so shocked when I checked the last time I worked on this piece. It was a month ago. Where has time gone? I thought I've just worked on this piece not very long ago, but this was before our last marathon. Okay, we did a marathon. If you still remember, it feels like distant memory there. But we did a marathon, and this was before. The last time I worked on this piece was before the marathon. My goodness, time flies, okay? And it's been a little bit hectic. So today, it's a therapy night for me, for sure. I have not stitched for maybe nearly 4 days. I'm pretty sure. The last time I saw you, it was a few days ago. I can't remember. But, whatever it is, it's this moment that counts. And we're here together. And for a stitching session, okay? And a chat as well. I miss chatting with you guys. So this piece is one of the two patterns I've got from Stitches So Beautiful. And they've got some beautiful patterns. If you're not familiar with the company, Stitches So Beautiful, they now offer saga files as well, so it's quite handy if you're new to saga or you're already using saga like me, and it's a great option for your patterns. And so this piece is called Festive Seascape, and it's by an artist called, let me show you the markup, okay? Have a look. And this is by, I should know, Gerard. What's the name? Let me have a quick check. Oh, all these names. Karla, sorry, spells with K. Karla Gerard. Okay, she's actually, you probably recognize her artwork. It's very distinctive. She's got this style, kind of a slightly warped dream world. And if you look through her catalog, you probably go, oh, I've seen that piece before, but you probably just don't know who the artist is. And she's got a lot of really whimsical, beautiful pieces. And this piece I chose from her collection, and it's really, really sort of, slightly dreamy, but also it's got that really uplifting sort of color selection palette there. So this piece I started, I think it was sometime this year, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. When we did the our retreat week. Okay, we did an entire week of retreat stitching of 14 counts, and this was my new start during that period, and it's been going really, really well. I love 14 counts, as you know. So this piece, I've been, let me have a little look. Let me zoom out here. Okay. Yes, it's that little blob on the upper left. This pattern, I'm actually stitching the small version. So for Stitches So Beautiful, they've got regular, and they have small as well, and they've got large. But not all pieces, they come in all these formats. So it's quite selective. They probably just chart them, based on what works. So it's not a, sort of, one size fits all kind of approach. And so this piece, let me show you. So I started from upper left there, moving roughly diagonally. And in terms of progress, okay, currently still under 5%. I think I'll, you know, we need to celebrate when I reach 5%. And I have no idea how many stitches are still required, but I'm patient. So, and this is small, size small for this pattern, but the number of colors is not that small. It's 110. So it's, you know, 20 colors more than a typical Heaven and Earth mini. And I'm going to start a new sprint right here, okay, and right in front of you. So this counter is going to capture every single stitch I'm going to be doing today, and at the end of every stream I share the number with you. You know, I don't chase stitch counts, and I think a lot of our stitchers watching this channel been stitching with Yogi. You probably don't mind that much either, but it's fun. It's fun sometimes to find out. No competition, not even with myself, but it's all, you know, it's a little bit of curiosity to find out how many stitches I do every session, and it varies quite a lot. And oh my goodness, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me tonight. And it's nearly 9 o'clock ish, 20 to 9 UK time, but for you this might be daytime, maybe just woken up. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Not good night just yet, okay, because you are staying with me. We're gonna do a little bit of stitching together. And so we have Lona is first to report to the chat. Welcome. Lona says, hello, Yogi and Stitchy friends. And we have Sola as well, says, hello, Yogi, Stitchy friends. Yes, everyone. And Alisa is here as well, the third to report to the chat. And Alisa waving to the chat. And we have Kelly Shaw as well. Great to see you, Kelly. And Susan, our lovely Susan. Susan, did you miss me? Yes. And Susan and Samantha as well. And Samantha says, hi everyone, I'll jump on later when I'm home. I need to buy some stuff for my daughter before she moves to college. Oh, the empty nest situation, Samantha. I don't know whether Samantha's got other kids as well living with her, but going to college is big. It means they're grown up, right? And so it needs to be celebrated, Samantha. And you have us to keep you company. You have more time for stitching, for sure. And we will see you later, Samantha. And Rachel, hello, Rachel 5288. And oh my dear, God, Matisa, it's been a little while, Matisa Stitcher. You know, a really big and great supporter for the channel for a long time now. And Moti Stitcher is from Malta. And she says, hi everyone, haven't been here in ages. Finally found some time for myself to be with you all. Yes, absolutely, you need to do that. And it's mandatory. It's not, you know, an option. You need to find time for yourself. I'm so glad to see you and you're doing well. And thank you for support. And Suzanne is also here as well. Hello, lovely Suzanne. And Monique as well. Monique says, hi, all Yogi. Glad you're back. Yes, I'm dying to be, you know, I was dying to be back. But, you know, sometimes when you see emergency covers requests, you want to help. And Mandy Moran is also here. Hello. And Michelle, lovely Michelle says, hello, Yogi and Chad. Great to see you. And Tigers is here as well. I will come back, okay, to go through your comments here. Let's start stitching, shall we? And I'm itching to start. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this piece, so this is upper left, okay, and I've been stitching with this piece, pretty much been parking from the beginning. I think so. I think I've been parking. For some reason, this whip is saying parking to me. And I've been doing kind of a, not quite color flow, but kind of a butchered blue Sue stitch method, okay? And Blue Sue Showroom Stitch, Blue Sue Stitch Showroom is the YouTuber, and I really love her stitching style. But due to the language barrier, she's in Korea, I think. So I'm just, you know, stitching in a way kind of based on my understanding of the way she's stitching. So I've been kind of progress with that, kind of a slightly modified method, you know, and come this far. So it's a kind of, in my mind, it's more of sort of color flow, hybrid, you know, just parking and stitching as I go, really. So today I think I'm gonna just flow with that and see how it goes. I don't think this piece asking me to do cross country just yet. I might change my mind, but so far I'm sticking with parking. Okay, so today's parking day, and I'm quite in the mood for doing that. So I am going to just pick one of the colors in no particular way, just whatever I fancy. And I'm quite happy with this little, I think it's a flower forming right here. And it's really, really lovely. So I'm going to just pick one of the colors and just start stitching. I'm not going to overthink, okay? So the first color of my choice is 3A63. 3A63, guys, today UK is, we're having another heat wave. I don't know when it's going to come to an end. I think, you know, by September, it might return to sort of more normal weather. We haven't rained, and today is 35 degree, the highest point. Not at this moment. I think at this moment it's about maybe just under 30. But yes, at the moment it's 30 where I am. 3A63, 3A63. So I'm stitching, yes, the specs. This is 14 count, okay? And I'm stitching with CXC, not DMC. I quite like the really matte finish of CXC for this piece. And it's been working really well. Let me just zoom out a little bit. I just want to show you. 3A63, 3A63. 3A63, so it's almost the end. And this chart uses a lot of colors in between, not 0, 1 to 35. The first few colors. 3A63. Okay. Let me have a look. I do have a needle threaded already. And let's have a look. And let me come back here. Tiger says I'm working, but we'll be on when I get off, an hour and a half. If you're still around, we're probably still around. We normally do around 4 hours. I know, but time flies. If you told me, Yogi, you know, you're going to be streaming every night, most nights, okay, and you're going to stitch for 4 hours a night, and I will probably tell you you're crazy. There's no chance I could do that. But oh, hang on, I've got a pass thread already. For some reason, the pass threads are not marked. You know what? You know what, guys? Oh my God, I had no idea. This is a problem. Okay, so you know what happened just before the stream? Let me show you what it looks like. So the progress, I have not lost anything with the progress, but I had a whole bunch of stitches marked as pass threads. But if you look at my chart right now, all the marked threads, all the symbols disappeared from my chart. I just noticed it now because I thought I rescued it. You know what happened just before the live stream? With Saga, you need to be very careful, okay? So what happened was, I hit the bucket. You know the toolbox here, the vertical toolbox here. There's a bucket there. I hit that bucket by accident, even though the chart was locked, the padlock was on. Okay, guys, Saga users, you need to know there are a lot of traps with this app. Even though the chart was locked, but I hit the bucket by mistake and it marked my entire chart to 100%. And I panicked. Because it was congratulating me for completing 100%. I go, no, that's not true. And but luckily, the undo button was working. So I basically hit the undo button and it returned to this chart. And I thought, oh, phew, thank God. But you know what? It wiped out all the part thread symbols for me. So this is a situation. I just discovered this now. Okay, so if you're Saga user, be very mindful. Even when your chart is locked, if you hit that bucket, whole thing gets marked. And particularly if you have marked, part threads already marked. That's why I was picking another thread of the same color without realizing there's already a part thread. So this is a situation tonight. I'm gonna have to fix it as I go. Okay, 3863. I'm gonna pop this back. Yes, I don't know. I'm just not doing very well with this app right now. Erasing things and etc. But just be mindful. Just be mindful. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. All I have to do is just be mindful about the threads I've got on my fabric. So here we go. Elisa says, I just love this piece. It's on my short list to get all the material together to start. Yes, it's lovely. I think this chart is perfect for mini as well. I'm sure if you pick the larger version, it would just be equally beautiful. But, if you look at the style, it's slightly, childlike style. It's perfect for a smaller piece. So I'm going to start stitching. It's okay. I can fix it. Natty, hello, Natty. Great to see you. And Michelle says, I hurry through work so that I could spend time stitching. Well done, Michelle. Yes, you need to do this for yourself, okay, stitchers. You need to make time. If I don't stitch for like multiple days, like, the last few days, my God, every single cell of my body is going, do some stitching, because you're just craving for that kind of, therapeutic process. And also stitching with everyone else, everyone here is just so wonderful. We get to chat and just talk about whatever. It's so relaxing. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to just do kind of very, very mini cross country and then park at the same time. That's it. That's my plan. Cindy says, hello, Yogi and City friends. Hello to you, Cindy. And Aldana, hello, Aldana. From Argentina, what time is it over there? Great to see you. I've seen you very active on Facebook group, but I have not seen you live here for a little while. I'm so happy that you're here. All right, then. I'm going to park this. Not parking. I'm going to end it because there's no other stitches in the nearby area. I just love the colors. It's so uplifting. All right. I am going to. I just did. I'm just improvising. I was supposed to be doing the sort of waist ending, but I just did a tuck in without even thinking about it. Suki, hello Suki, great to see you. And Badel is here as well, hello. And Lizzie, good evening Lizzie. And Susan Bond, my God, a lot of stitches I have not seen for a little while. Well, sometimes stitches are watching without chatting, but without, seeing you in the chat, I wouldn't know that you were there. So Susan Bonds, hello, hello. And Kiana says hello as well. Great, welcome back. And Marsha is also here from Australia. Oh, wonderful. All my favorite stitchers. And Betty Hankins as well. Hello, hello. And Linda Diamonds. Oh, this is wonderful gathering here. And April, hello, hello. And Rachel Morton is also here as well. Now I have to say Rachel Morton because we have two Rachels. And Rachel Morton says, hi everyone, taking a break from the workout today, doing some chores instead. I worked on Monday to Wednesday, so don't feel too bad about it. Do not feel guilty, definitely. Listen to the body. Monday to Friday, I mean, you're so disciplined as it is already. So, celebrate that. Now, I'm going to pick my next color. I'm going to just look at my fabric instead, because I've lost all the part thread symbols. Let me just look at this. And Rachel says, tomorrow is International Cross Stitch Day. What? Tomorrow? That's our day. And she says, we should have a wild card day, or a new star day, or something special. Rachel's got all the great ideas. The other day, she was the one mentioned that there's a cat International Kitty Day. So we did a kitty sow. Let me just pick this one here. Yes, but new start. Every day is a new start day for, for some stitchers. Yes, tomorrow, Friday. Yes. And Vadu is also here. Hello, hello. And Lizzie says, Yogi, I want to ask, is there a connection between yoga and stitching for you? Wow, great question. Yes. So yes. So Lizzie's great question. So I find both of them very meditative and very therapeutic. That's the connection because, I talked about this before. I don't think I'm ADHD or anything like that. Certainly have not been diagnosed that way. I just think that my attention span is slightly different from probably people who are more focused. So, for a lot of people, you might be able to do one thing at a time and then, move, so on and so forth, just move forward and on your to-do list or whatever. But for me, in order to focus, I have to literally distract myself to do different things at the same time. So I tend to do things simultaneously. But for some reason, I think yoga and maybe stitching are the two things I can do with a lot more focus. With stitching, yes, sometimes I would, most of the time I would still listen to something or watch something. But with yoga, I can be totally focused, be in the moment. So when your mind is able to focus on one thing, it's very healing. It's very healing to be able to do that. And so, yes, I do find the parallel between yoga and stitching. That's a great question. Thank you. Badu, he says, splurged and got a frame to hold my hoop. Finally, the stitching would be faster. Oh, did you get those wooden frames? Is that what you're getting? What you got? Which one did you get? I suppose he could help you with the speed. But with Vaduhi's only got one or two projects, right? So you're a great candidate for wooden frames like that, because you will pretty much, you can just keep your project on the frame without having to move the project that much. Okay, this one here, 3051. So I'm kind of trying to spot my part threads, trying to fix this situation. Lynn, hello Lynn. Lynn says, hello Yogi, you're back. Missed you. Miss you too, Lynn. And she says had to watch Kamari. She's talking English now. Really? Really? Since when? Oh, just hello. You mean like talking in English throughout? That's new to me. That's great. I have to go watch it. And she says hello to Cynthia. And I hope you, the husband, and Molly at Midnight, everybody's doing great. And Pink Butterflies is good morning. Suzanne says new floss came in the mail, so I'm working on floss management. It's so exciting when you have new material, isn't it? I just did a yogi move here because I'm going to take this stitch over here to the left here. And to go back to what Lizzie just mentioned, the connection between yoga and stitching, just like, yoga, if I don't, it rarely happens, but if I don't get to do some sort of self-practice with yoga for a few days, I can feel it. I definitely know. Sometimes when you are focusing on teaching, it doesn't matter how many classes I teach, and it doesn't matter how much yoga that I do when I'm teaching. That's not yoga practice for me, because when you are teaching, you are offering to others. So it's not self-practice. If I don't get to do self-practice because I get very busy for a while, I can feel it. And same with stitching as well. All right, let me just quickly have a look at this. So this one is part as well. Let me see if we can fix it. And that one I've got as well. I'm going to just fix a little bit as I go along. So that one I've got. And Suzanne says 200 scans of painting fairy and 100 arrow. That's a type of thread as well. Sorted the arrow so far. That is so wonderful. So are they topped up, sort of like additional? So it's not a whole set. Just you're topping up your existing stash. That is so nice. I'm gonna try painting fairies thread at some point when I need more threads, because at the moment I'm doing pretty good with what I've got, but I would love to try new threads to see what they're like. Okay, 310. There you go, a little bit 310 action. Why not? 310. Spooky bingo time. Okay. Aldana says it's almost 5 o'clock in Argentina, and tea time. And she says, I already had my tea today. I'll have another one. We're going to have a chocolate time. So 310, guys. So this, the pattern just, I love the fact there's so much contrast. The background is slightly darker, and then you come across these really bright elements as you stitch. It's great fun. So a little bit of 310. And Kelly quotes plus is in the chat saying hello. And Oh, Kelly's stitching 310 as well. She says, I've got a good amount of 310 stitching. It's Halloween night earlier today. Right, I suppose if you're doing Halloween, there'll be quite a lot of darker colors. And Aldana says, while everyone in the north is struggling with heat waves, here we haven't seen the sun in months. In Argentina, I thought Argentina was always sunny. I just got the impression that it's always hot and stuff. Right. So it's been cloudy, has it? And cold and rainy. It doesn't sound very South America to me. I just thought every day was Sunday. Was sunny day. Every day is Sunday. So spring starts on September. Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought Argentina was always really, hot and stuff. Marsha says, just started Amy Stewart's chocolate box. Oh, the new one. She says, I'm not sure about it. I'll keep going, finish page and assess whether I'll continue. Unusual for her, but definition not good. Oh, do you mean the chart? Which version are you stitching, Marsha? That's a brand new chart, isn't it, from Amy Stewart? It's basically just boxes of chocolate. And I think it kind of echoes the chocolate, love letter chocolate piece that she's got. A lot of people are stitching. And stitches, stitch across the Smokies. Welcome back. Tricky name to pronounce. Says beautiful piece, Yogi. Thank you so much. It is gorgeous, isn't it? Amanda says, is Komori still using the same channel? Can't find anything newer than 5 days ago. Really? Well, sometimes she doesn't stream for a little bit. It's not unusual for her, but probably I have not checked the last few days. Sometimes she would stream multiple times a day, and sometimes she would go off for a few weeks. So it's not unusual for her to take a break from time to time. I think she just, stream as many times as she's allowed to. I think she's got probably kids and stuff. So it's the charting, it's not artwork. Interesting. Because Heaven and Earth, they normally do quite well with the charting. It's unusual to have a chart that doesn't come out well, unless it's mini. Mini sometimes is tricky. Mini depends on the pattern. Sometimes you kind of go, not too sure. So let me come all the way here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Well, actually, let me just stop here. Lizzie's been active, action-packed. Lizzie says been to the seaside, had a train ride, and come home but bushed. What does that mean? And got an emergency drink. Just take part in the life. Oh, well done, Lizzie. And I hope you enjoy the seaside as well. I have not been to seaside since whenever, long time ago. And Kezase is going to lurk a bit today. You can lurk. Sola says, I'm still stitching Tree of Life, but tomorrow I'm going to work on Halloween piece until November. Oh, that's all the way until the end, till Halloween, really. And oh, is that spider piece the greedy spider that's got 10 legs? You know, just like 6 is just not enough. You need 10. I'm too minded about how I'm going to end my threads. I'm quite tempted to do a tuck-in. I'm gonna just do a tuck-in actually. Nice. It's always nice to do a bit of 310. And I'm gonna pick this one here. Oh, Alyssa is kind of saying the same thing. Are we talking about hate, heaven and earth charts? Alyssa says, responding to Marsha, says, after you told us about the detailed issues with your piece, I've come across a few others who have said the same thing. So disappointing about this particular chart or other charts as well, because it's quite unusual for heaven and earth to get it wrong, because they're quite experienced, aren't they? Marsha says, Yogi, I'm doing regular, but I've done many other regulars. They've been perfect. I know. Because I was wondering, because I thought, well, if it was a mini, and just thinking about that piece, because it's got a lot of small pieces of chocolate all over the entire chart. So potentially, if you're doing a mini, you could lose some details of the items. That's possible. But with regular, you really shouldn't have that problem, because I think they use regular charts as the default standard. So if it doesn't look good on regular color, there's probably something wrong with it. That's very unusual for them to get it wrong. So this one's literally just one stitch. And also, it's probably doubly disappointing because it's Amy Stewart chart, and also Amy Stewart charts are no longer on the discount list anymore. That she's excluded from the sales, so you have to buy the charts full price. And Susan Barnes says, anyone watch Cross Stitch Meadows' new method of stitching? He's got a new method, really? Gotta have a look then. Kelly says, I'm stitching, Kelly quotes plus. We have two Kellys here. Kelly says, I'm stitching mostly typewriter method. With Halloween night. So the top left corner is all 310. Okay, you're going around the edges. Let me have a look. Let me do this one. I like a bit of typewriter from time to time. Okay, just 2 stitches here. Aldana says pretty much we have great weather here in Argentina. Quite hot in summer and very, very humid. Okay, so is that a capital, Buenos Aires? Right. That's my impression. I thought South America is overall just very hot and humid. So I was quite surprised with the cloudiness. Hi, Gayla. Great to see you. So 2 stitches. There's another one over here. I'm gonna just do tuck in actually. I'm just not in the mood for waist ending. I'm gonna cut off. I mean, waist ending is quite fun to do from time to time. Just kind of almost enjoy the chaos a little bit. But sometimes, some days, you're just not in the mood for that. So I'm gonna trim off some of these. And I love, what I love about stitching method is you don't have to commit to it. You can switch back and forth as many times as you want. And it makes it interesting. All right. Weeding. A little bit of weeding here. Lizzie says, I did it. It was a beautiful area of the world. Would not have thought with a name like my head. That would be beautiful. Oh, is that where you went? Where was it? Where is it, rather? It's still there. But yes, a seaside. I think the last seaside I went was probably Brighton. That was kind of nearest to London. But that was ages ago. All right, let me just do this one. 3371. 3371. I'm gonna cut these off actually. I think they're quite secure. Just get them out of my way. Today is not a day for waist ending for me. All right, better. Betty Hankins says we had 99% humidity for days now. Oh dear. I can't even imagine. I suspect this time, I have not checked the humidity this time around with this heat wave, but I suspect it's probably a little bit better than last month. For instance, the last heat wave, oh my God, I probably took 3 showers a day. But today hasn't been too bad. Today is kind of doable. %99. I can't even imagine. And Kelly, Kelly says, Saga is lagging behind. That's normal. It's been lagging constantly, but I think it's updated. It's updated. I think it's probably not Saga. It's more of a connection between my computer and iPad. There's something happening there. I mean, my iPad is super old, so maybe it has something to do with it. Okay, just one more here. So I'm gonna go just very, very short distance, cross country, and then park whenever I can. So let's say it's very dry here for a change. And remind me where you are location-wise, which part of the world. 30% humidity, not a cloud in the sky. 30% is pretty good, isn't it? It is slightly on the dry side. What would be the kind of perfect humidity? Because over here, sometimes in the winter, it can be very dry. You know, you can feel the static in the clothing sometimes and the hair in the winter. And Solar says, why wait? I'm going to work on Mongolian starting today. Yeah, go for it. When were you going to start? Like a birthday start or something like that? But just go for it. Don't wait. No need to wait. Okay. I am going to focus on this bit. Which one is it? This one, it's already been done. I think this one is done. And that one over there. Oh, it's looking nice. Look at that. Lizzie says we've got smoke from hill fires around here. Hill fires, is that a thing? So is it like a forest fire? Hill fires because it's been probably so hot. Ginny says I've also been to Brighton. Yes, it's an interesting town, isn't it? It's essentially a university town, but it's also known for the seaside and, you know, other things. It's got quite a sort of lively sort of culture scene going on there. Okay, I'm gonna do 934. 934. I remember it's quite a while ago. I did the Brighton bike ride. I don't know whether they still do that. It's ages ago, and oh my God, cycle from London to Brighton. I can't remember the distance, but you know, I remember. I remember it took me 9 hours, guys, 9 hours. And it's not just the distance, because when you get to Brighton, it's very hilly. It's got like a really high, you know, incline there. And it was a beast. So most people basically get off the bicycle and walk that distance. And I remember I had a puncture of my bike. And so I had to get it fixed. So by the time I got to the end, it was 9 hours later. I was exhausted. I was literally just shattered. 934, 934. Fond memories of Brighton. 934. Lizzie says, I think my aunt lives in Brighton. Yes, it's quite a popular location. Lucy, hello. Lucy says, hello, Yogi and chat. Hope you're happy and healthy today. I love this piece. I'm so happy you're live, Yogi. I know, me too. Lucy, great to see you. And I hope you've been enjoying your stitching as well, and live and everything you do. And this piece is so delightful, isn't it? Elisa says it's 103 Fahrenheit, I hope. It's here. And it's windy. Feels like having a blow dry in your face. Oh, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. That's a very good description. Yes. When it's hot. Let me have a look. Oh, that one. Okay. 1, 2. No, that's the wrong one. That's this one over here. How do I do this? I'm gonna start from here instead. Lizzie says 9 hours on the bike, can barely be on the bike for 9 seconds. Well, that's a little bit extreme, Lizzie. I'm sure you can stay on it for 9 seconds. But yes, 9 hours. But that's including queuing up to get my bike fixed. And I remember it was a borrowed bike from someone else, because normally my own bikes, I have the sort of Dutch bike type of things. But for the bike ride, I had to borrow a hybrid, kind of more like a, not quite road bike, but like a hybrid bike. And I had this massive puncture. But it was great fun. I'm not going to do it again anytime soon, okay? And I remember I was so exhausted because I was doing it with a whole bunch of people, entire team. And the rest of the people, they probably finished the bike ride in about within 5 hours, okay? And they were lounging on the beach. And when I arrived, I looked like a ghost. I literally looked like a ghost. I felt like one. And but I remember we had a really nice meal after that. We went to a local pasta restaurant, and I was literally starving after that. So we had a really good meal. And I'm going to park in my next stitch. One, two. Jojo. Jojo says, hi Yogi, sadly I can't stitch or watch for long today. My mom had a heart valve implanted yesterday, and I'll be with her today. Everything went well. Modern medicine is amazing. We'll watch video later. Jojo, well, first of all, I'm so happy the mom is doing well. That's a major operation. Anything to do with the heart is no joke. And Jojo, do not worry. We have, replay when you get a moment to sit down and stitch, and the chat and me will be there for you. And yeah, sending love to mom and you as well. So you need to take a break as well. I bet it's quite stressful to her mom going through the operation. But yes, deep breath, deep breath. Ujjayi breath with Yogi. And the next stage is literally just 437, 437. Is looking after, someone takes a lot out of you, and you need to give yourself, some time to breathe as well every day. Lynn says Brighton is not good for a beach. It's all pebbles and very expensive. I know. It's all pebbles. It's not those, beautiful golden sandy beach that you're thinking. It's not like that at all. It's full of, little rocks. And overall, if you look at the beach, it looks dark rather than golden. It's not. It's not, Florida or something. Not that I've been to Florida, but yes, and it's expensive because it's it's getting more and more touristy, because it's got a lot of kind of cultural things kind of going on. It's quite a popular town. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. Yum, yum, yum. It's interesting because I came across a student of my for my classes, and because I've got a Brompton, which is a folding bike, and so I basically cycle everywhere, most places I go every day. And the student saw me and she goes, oh, I never learned how to cycle. And I think that can be a problem, because a if you're grown up and you've never been taught to ride a bicycle, or for some reason you were put off, never learned it, it's probably much harder to learn as a grown up. Even though I'm sure you can learn to cycle for sure, everybody can, but I think it's a psychological block, isn't it? Because a lot of things we need to learn when we're kids, because we're fearless. We have not learned how to be afraid just yet. So we're willing to try. And riding a bicycle is a little bit like that. Because depends on the bicycles you have, you might fall off. And sometimes because you fall off once, you get put off for life. But most people keep trying until they learn it. But, if you never sort of pick up how to ride a bicycle, or swimming is another one, because it requires you to overcome the kind of instinct, which is you may drown or you may fall off the bike. And kids are not afraid. Kids don't mind. And so as a grown-up, I'm sure you can ride how to ride a bike any age, but you just need to be able to overcome that psychological fear, which is a logical fear. Okay, you could fall off a bike, that's real, and you could drown as well, that's also real. Let me pick up 310, another strand of 310. And I'm trying to think what else. What other things that you need to learn as a kid, if you can, because it becomes harder to learn when you're grown up. I think ballet, for instance, you want to start young, but not because of fear. It's just your body is more pliable at that age. Jeannie says a seagull stole my breakfast last time I was on the Brighton beach. I'm not going back there. Oh, how mean are they, those seagulls? They're fearless, aren't they? Because they're almost like pigeons in Hyde Park. They're very used to people, and they're hungry. So sometimes they can get a little bit too keen and snatch your sandwich or something. Dear, oh dear. See you later, Lona. Yes, Lona is looking after Mom as well. Take your time. And also another thing, I think public speaking as well, you know, standing in front of people and talk, that is one of those things probably better starting young as well. Because for some people, talking in front of people is just like death, you know, they don't want to do it, it's terrifying. But I think kids don't mind, you know, kids they have not learned that they, you know, they probably haven't learned embarrassment and the sense of failure just yet, which is probably good. So they're fearless. You know, if you want them to stand up and talk in front of people, they just do it. They don't think about it. Suzanne says, I bike today. Yes, because I remember when the channel started and Suzanne came along and we started to chat. And at that time, Suzanne had a bicycle accident, I remember, and her legs are all bruised up and everything. And so physically, I think the physical part of it, you can probably recover a little bit sooner. But the psychological, you know, fear of going back to cycling after an accident, sometimes it can take a long time. So I'm really happy that Suzanne is happily bicycling right now. It would be a shame, you know, if you're put off by it. And also in Sweden, you know, where Suzanne is, everybody's cycling. I think, you know, in Northern European countries, I mean, UK is getting, you know, very, very popular the last few years. But, and gradually, you know, people are more used to cycling. But I think countries like, you know, Denmark, Holland, and maybe I think Sweden as well, there's a long tradition, well, not tradition, but, you know, history of cycling. I mean, I was following a blogger from Denmark, and he was one of the sort of key figures, kind of promoting citizen cycling, not sports cycling, but cycling as a mode of transportation. And I remember, you know, that's how I got into kind of looking into different countries' cycling infrastructure as part of, you know, day-to-day life. And in Denmark, you can literally get your suitcases and load them on the bicycle, because those Dutch bikes, they're very, very strong. They're cargo bikes as well, that you can literally, carry tons and tons of stuff. And you can put your suitcases if you're going away for holiday or something. You don't need an Uber. You just load your, luggage on a cargo bike or something like that, and cycle. They've got cycle paths all the way from the city center to airports. So you don't have to rely on taxi or anything like that. There's no traffic jam. You can just, go to the airport and then dock your bicycle there, and no one steals your bicycle. Well, I think. I hope. It just seems like they don't even need to carry locks, because everybody's got a bicycle. They don't have to steal yours. It's a utopia, bicycle utopia for me. Because over here, you have to be wary about people stealing your bikes, your saddles, everything, your tires. It's just ridiculous. Anything that can be detached from your bike can be stolen. But imagine you can just cycle anywhere you want and just dock your bike, hop off your bike, and when you come back, the bike is still there. That's paradise for me. And see you later, Aldana. Great to see you, and enjoy your evening in Argentina. And Lefty has joined us. Lefty Gemini, hello, hello. Lona's back. I hope Mom is doing well. Lona is fighting with confetti war today. But we like a little bit of a battle, don't we? If it's just like easy peasy, it's just, it's no fun. We like a bit of challenge. Let's see, that way. I'm really enjoying this chart because it's got healthy amount of color changes, but not overwhelming. And it's quite surprising because, it's got 110 colors in a fairly, well, in comparison, small piece. This is a mini, not mini, this is a small version. But that's just so nice. Suzanne says, I'm still having a hard time going out on a bike or even going outside. Really? Is that triggered by the accident or other things as well? But yeah, I think, I like to think in Sweden, the infrastructure for cycling is a little bit safer. So you don't have to fight with the traffic, for instance, which you still have to do in London sometimes. And Xmashi Stitch, hello, great name. Xmashi Stitch, welcome. Right, Suzanne says, but I have the incentive to go to get my floss at the post drop off. Right. Yes, well, that's the only reason you should get on a bicycle, because you have to go and do something. Well, it's nice to go for a bike ride, but that's slightly different. I love the fact that, when bicycle is part of your life, it's just a mode of transportation. You don't think about it. You're not doing sports. You're not trying to exercise. You're not doing anything fancy. You're just living. And I love the idea of that. Because sometimes in order to encourage people to get on a bicycle in the UK, they almost try to make it sound like it's a form of workout. Do they not do that in America as well? It's like, well, they're trying to encourage people to get on a bike. It's supposed to be good for you, but they don't talk about bicycle being good for your mind. They talk about, yes, it's you can lose weight, you can get fit, and but the idea of connecting day-to-day functional cycling to the idea of being a sport is just a bad idea, because it encourages the idea of cycling faster, because it's a form of exercise. It's almost like racing. You would not encourage motorists, day-to-day people just driving to wherever. You would not promote driving as a car racing, as a sport, would you? Because it's just asking for trouble. It's not, the goal isn't to go fast. The goal is to do it safely. And sometimes in order to, kind of entice people to cycle, they kind of try to make it sound like it's a sport. And it's just not compatible with functional cycling. Suzanne says it's faster to get around the center town with biking. It's faster with biking wherever you go, to be honest, unless it's really long distance. Then, physically it might be too long to cycle, or maybe, if it's tricky to cycle. But otherwise, bicycle is always faster. Oh, so it's like that in Sweden as well. Suzanne says, they do still bikes. Really? So not quite utopia. But I don't know about Denmark. Denmark is such an interesting country. I've never been. I would love to go at some point. Because I was looking into their bicycle culture, so I looked into other parts of their lives as well. And I think it's maybe Sweden as well, and Norway, etc. Everything, that their sense of style and living is very simple. And I can only speak for Denmark, because that was the kind of videos, the content I was looking into. And over there, if you look at IKEA, for instance, it's very sort of minimum, it's really simple, really functional, and nothing fussy about it. And everything's there for a reason, for functional reasons. And their living space is very much like that. Over the world, people want to buy big houses, lots of furniture, big, just generally just try to own more things. But in Denmark, apparently, no one is fussing about owning a house. No one's buying houses. Well, I'm sure some people, but renting is so reasonable. They rent most of the time, and they rent space that's just enough. Even, some of them have kids and everything. They just rent space enough for sleeping in, and maybe some sort of indoor activities like cooking, because people spend time outside. They socialize in restaurants, they socialize in parks, they socialize just generally just outdoors. So they don't need a huge indoor space for them to, just feel like, they have a good life. So it's a totally different concept. I was so blown away. And I know everybody's got a bicycle. They just cycle out there. They meet at the local restaurants and they have a drink by the river and wherever. And they go home and have a nice place to sleep. So it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be big. You need a nice bed, clean space, and that's it. I love the idea. And also another thing, I was so blown away. We're talking about bicycles not being stolen, right? I'm pretty sure, maybe someone from Denmark can correct me. I'm pretty sure they can just, pop their bike, by the roadside. No one's going to steal them. But also, there's another thing they do not steal, guys. In Denmark, no one steals babies. They don't steal babies because they have the habit of leaving kids outside in their prams or some sort of, baby's bed outside. And even in the winter, the baby just get, put outside, outdoor, sometimes on their own. And I think they probably, got a lot of comments from people all over the world and go, wow, why would you do that? That's so dangerous. People steal babies. And those guys from Denmark, they go, who wants to steal babies? Why would they do such things? Well, clearly it's a very different world. No one steals bicycles. No one steals babies. Sounds like a great place for me. It's very, very different. Suzanne says, I have 4 bikes stolen since I've lived here in Sweden. Really? Oh dear, okay. So not in Sweden, okay. People steal bikes in Sweden. Hey, Sana. Great to see you. Welcome. And Heather is here as well. Heather House says, greetings, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Wonderful. And Suzanne is doing really well with this floss sorting. I love the idea of sorting threads because there's a new possibility, isn't it? Because threads are like paint, like new paint that you get. And the purpose of paint is for you to use it on a piece of artwork. And the purpose of threads is for you to stitch on a piece of fabric to turn it into something. So it's that possibility. That is so exciting. Ah, okay. So it's cross mark she stitch. So it's cross marks the stitch. I couldn't put spaces. It's X marks. Is there some people say cross stitch as X stitch? And do not worry, you can change your YouTube name whenever you want, I think. You can change the handle. Suzanne says, I used to really love just biking and listening to my audiobooks. Yes. I think it's only a good idea to listen to things if you're cycling somewhere that's relatively safe, because otherwise, even with audiobooks, it could block your ability to hear incoming traffic and all that stuff. So I tend not to put on, headset or anything like that when I'm cycling. And Suzanne says it's so much faster to bike in the winter since it's easier than shoveling out the car and fight with the ice in the parking lot and back. Totally. Yes. I mean, having a car is like having a child. That's how it works in my mind. That's why I don't want it. There's like so much you have to do for a car. But of course, if you live somewhere, you have to drive, then you have no choice. Betty says, we here in America, a lot of us live very rural. You can't just ride a bicycle for anything other than exercise. Yes. I totally understand. For me, it's I have to get my head around, because I always live somewhere that you have public transportation and, wherever you go. So it's a very different way of living, totally. If you live somewhere, You don't have buses, you don't have underground, and it's dangerous to cycle, for instance. Yes, totally. And Ginny says, I heard from some that when they bike to and from work, it's a time they get their mind relaxed, life from the stress from work gone by the time you get home. Absolutely. If you're referring to Denmark, I think that's when, that blogger I was talking about, Mikkel, his surname, I can't remember, but he's kind of one of the quite a well-known figure promoting sort of regular cycling, for most countries. He's going around different countries, trying to give talks. He's got a TED talk as well. And, talking about the mind, the psychological element of cycling. Because if you think about it, if you live in a city where there's trains and underground or any kind of public transportation, you get on those, either trains, tubes, or whatever it is, buses. You look at people's faces around peak time, rush hours. No one looks happy. Everybody's just eager to get over the journey so they can get home and get on with their lives. So traveling, for most people, the commuting, why is this so exhausting to people? Because it's mean to an end. We wish we didn't have to do it. Like flying as well, flying can be quite exhausting as well, because our goal isn't to fly. Our goal isn't to drive home. Our goal isn't to get on to underground. That's not our goal. It's a process we have to go through in order to get to another place, which is home or maybe work. So people don't enjoy it. And when you don't enjoy that process, you just sit there staring at, like really boring ads. It feels like a waste of time. But when you're cycling home, and that's what I noticed when I went from commuting with public transportations like London Underground that I put up with for a long, long time. From that to cycling, my God, it was such a life-changing experience. I can understand why people have road rage, why people look so unhappy on underground, because it's not a happy experience. And so cycling is giving you that break. And also when you're sort of physically doing things, so your body's happier. So there's an element of exercise, but even though the goal isn't to exercise, just by moving the body, even just a walk, if people walk home or whatever, just having a walk, you feel better already. So it's just a logical thing. When you move your body, you're just happier. And on top of that, when you're cycling, your mind is free, but there's a certain focus you have to have as well, because you're looking at the road. So it's a nice balance where your mind can be kind of rest a little bit and get away from the workplace, sit in the office for hours, that kind of stuff. I think, cycling a country. So this guy, Mikkel, the blogger, he was talking about the mental health of a country or a city that everybody has to go on some sort of public transportation or drive. The chances of people suffering from mental illness is so much greater. And mental illness is not so much that diagnosable sort of, schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever. Those are more severe, but you could, a person can suffer from really mild mental sort of just generally, what would be the word for it? Kind of just not functioning well mentally. And it doesn't mean you have mental illnesses. It's just that you're mentally just not balanced. And that happens a lot. If you look at the people on rush hours on London Tube, you kind of just go, oh dear. Sometimes, you know, I don't have to sort of be on those trains during work, sort of peak hours that frequently now. You know, my lifestyle has changed a lot since I became a yoga teacher. But from time to time, you do run into those hours and you kind of remember what it used to be like, you know, when I had to sit on that train just to get to work, so I can get on with my life. That wasn't a happy time. And Betty says, we love the mountains. Well, I can't really say that. There's no mountains in London, but yes, occasionally I go to. Well, I cycle past a lot of, you know, parks and commons, that kind of stuff. So that's my nature fix. Lucy says, still waiting for my threads, so no stitching yet. I've been practicing cross stitching on a piece of Ada I bought. Oh, well done. Yes, the anticipation of the material to arrive. But yes, a little bit of practicing is kind of good. I think, Lucy, stitching is really simple in a sense, but there are some sort of key things that a lot of new people maybe, I wouldn't say mistakes, but frequently people kind of stitching, when you do a cross, right? They do it in a different order for each stitch. You know what I mean? Because with stitching, you need to be consistent. You need to, so the two stitch that you do to form a cross, this is like one leg at a time. So first leg, doesn't matter what direction you're stitching, it's a best practice to keep it consistent. So if, for instance, my first leg is always from left to right, go upwards. It doesn't matter which corner I start, I want to keep it consistent. And the second leg, go on top like that. So it's always, doesn't matter what I do, it's always the same order. And sometimes new stitchers, they, you know, they do the cross stitches, but sometimes in different orders. And it's not the end of the world, but, you know, the stitches might look slightly untidy if you do that. So that's probably one of the things I can think of. Janine, not Janine. Where's Janine, by the way? And Suzanne says babies are put outside for naps here as well in Sweden. And so in Sweden, do they steal babies? They don't. They're clearly not. The thieves are not interested in babies in Denmark. But I don't know whether that's the case for Sweden. I found that so funny. Because over here is unthinkable, isn't it? You just think, oh my God, they're going to get snatched by baby thieves. And they're like going, who is going to steal babies, you silly? And Tanya, is it Tanya? says in Finland, we put babies to nap outside all winter alone and tucked in the pram, warm and cozy. I know, maybe in sort of North America, European countries is quite common, but you know, it's really sort of unthinkable for the rest of the world. And I love the idea that you can just put your babies outside and they probably learn to be more resistant to, you know, winds and temperature and stuff like that, even though they're tucked really warm. Because over there can be quite cold, isn't it? So from a very young age, they're kind of, you know, accustomed to being out there in the element. And they probably turned out to be strong as well. People in Finland are so tall and big. And it's probably to do with, you know, they're just so accustomed to cold weather. You're really tall in Finland and Denmark as well, generally. Jeannie says drunks steal bikes to get home in town. I can totally see that. You know, if you've been to London, there's a place called Camden Town, and there's a canal alongside, and people throw things in water in general. It's just the way it is. In Camden, it's very lively. There's a very lively sort of drinking, you know, scene there, and like every single year, you know, you can just see people from the council going around the canal and trying to fish out kind of large junk from the canal. And the things they find most is bicycles. People throw bicycles in the canal for some reason. I don't know why. And probably they just steal somebody's bike and probably cycle somewhere and just throw it in the water. It's just so curious that people would throw bikes in a canal. Hello, Grace. Grace, say hello to everyone. And Betty says kids steal bikes for no reasons at all. That's quite true. I think kids steal things if they're bored, aren't they? So it's about how do you keep them from having a purposeful life. I've never stolen anything when I was a kid because I wasn't bored. I had things to do, a lot of things. And apparently, most bands, you know, like musical bands, a lot of really good bands. I can only speak for the UK, but majority of them are from really, really sort of poor, not poor area necessarily, but towns that have no kind of, you know, desert for culture and excitement and anything for kids. And, you know, when kids are bored, there are two choices they can make. They either become criminals, they go out and steal things, or they become musicians, they become artists, because they have to go inside themselves and discover things that's exciting and new. So a lot of really great bands are from small towns that, you know, have nothing, no job prospects, no entertainments. And they have to find a way to be creative. Over here, let's have a look. Do I have this one? No. 932. 932. Oh, I love this blue. And Betty says, gas-powered bikes are becoming popular. What? Bikes powered by gas? And she says there are about 4 in town, and so at about 20K people each. What do you mean gas powered? I don't understand it. I know ovens are powered by gas. I didn't know bicycles can be powered by gas. Is that a new thing? But in London, I think electric e-bikes are become more and more popular, to my surprise, because I've never got on one. I've done a test ride of a e-bike years ago, and I was terrified. I didn't know what was happening. You push a button and it starts to accelerate forward. Didn't like it. But there are more and more e-bikes in the UK. In London, anyway. Rachel Morton says, when I was growing up, I was a 20-minute drive to the closest grocery store. The only thing I had close was a gas station and a pharmacy. So how did you do your shopping day to day? So 20 minutes isn't too bad. 20-minute drive. 2 hours is a little bit far. And Suzanne says, referring to bicycling, she says that was one thing I loved after I finished teaching. I was often worn out and hot after the physical activity of weaving. The bike ride home was very relaxing and cooling. Yes, particularly if you have relatively safe bicycle infrastructure, meaning that you don't have to fight with the cars, and it can be quite stressful as well. You can just cycle because the cycle lanes are so well designed. I don't know about Sweden, but in Denmark, for instance, and Holland, it's like, you know, you have really wide bicycle lane that's totally safe, and you can just literally just cruise on a bike. That's so nice. So nice. And X marks the stitch. She's I'm trying to work out a name. You know who you are, X marks. And she says, well, I'm assuming it's a she. I'm stitching mini vintage baker today on 28 counts 1/1 full cross. I love that piece. I'm stitching the regular on 25, and X marks is stitching on 28 counts mini. Very nice. I think that piece, that charge, should do quite well as a mini piece because everything is so large on that piece, on that pattern. So you're going to still have a lot of details with mini. Tiger says, it's a Minecraft day, but I'm here. Yes, you can play. I think it's quite relaxing to listen to the chat while you're playing Minecraft. Minecraft can be quite relaxing to play as well, unless you're fighting the mobs. I have not played Minecraft for a little while. I just haven't found kind of motivation to go back because it hasn't changed that much. Because when I was playing that game, I gave it a good go. You know, I went all the way to fighting the dragon. I, killed the dragon and went on for a little bit more. So I've tried everything. I tried all the mob farms and different, infrastructures like buildings and stuff. So I've done it all. And I've been waiting for a good reason to go back. I just haven't, because all the updates they come up with recent years, they're just adding more items. But fundamentally, the game is the same game. it has not changed that much. They've added more depths to the underground element, but other than that, not much changed. But it's been around for a while, isn't it, Minecraft? Minecraft's been around for like maybe 15 years for computer games. That is crazy. Tiger says in the US, people would take your child out of your arms. Oh dear. I know that's probably, I don't know about out of your arms, but if you leave a child out there, it's a very bad idea. And Maddie says, hi Yogi, and fam, as in family, not stitching today, but lurking while I bead some earrings. Oh, amazing. Yes, join us. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Let me see, where do I go next? Tiger says, saw many videos of it as a teen, and I'm always vigilant in public. Lots of trafficking around here. And remind me where you are, Tigers. Yes, I think overall, I think no one will probably be surprised that, people stealing children, etc., for whatever reason. And there's some crazy cases of women murder other women and cut them open to get children. Because if you just listen to come across one case, you go, well, that's just freaky. But it's so strange. I can think of at least 3 or 4 cases recent years of women doing the same thing. That is so bizarre. Really, really weird. And most of the babies did not survive. It was just horrendous. Heather says there are a lot of e-bikes here in Victoria, in Canada. Our weather is mild all years, so it's a main mode of transportation. That's so nice. Yes, e-bikes, maybe I need to give it another go, but when I tried it a while back, I really didn't like it. I like the good old-fashioned manpower bicycles. And Suzanne says, mine's an e-bike, but you have to pedal to get it to go, but it's really nice. Yes, I think e-bikes, you could just cycle normally, but they tend to be quite chunky, aren't they? They're quite big. And Brompton has got an e-bike version as well, but it's very, very heavy, like a tank. It can defeat the purpose of a folding bike. Solar says, oh, right, solar. Yes, you're quite right. Yes, in America, they call gas, petrol gas, don't they? So solar says, I think they mean petrol powered. They said gas powered, like bikes. Yes, I was thinking like, stove, as in gas. Of course, in America, petrol is gas. So bicycle powered with petrol. I thought the whole point of bicycle and e-bikes, etc., and e-cars, they're to get away from petrol. But I think, you know, all the countries, they're producing petrol, they're probably shedding cold sweat right now, because the whole electric cars trend is becoming more and more common. Does that mean eventually we don't need petrol anymore? That's a lot of money involved. Hello, Dolly. What can I do for you, babe? And Dolly's after something. She's looking suspicious. I think she wants to go out. Right, babe? Is that what you want? Is that time of the evening? Give me a sec. Let me open a window, because otherwise she's going to be nagging me all night and complaining, maybe reporting me to RSPCA for not paying attention. Hang on a second. I will be right back. Let me just bring on... Okay, babe. Okay, baby. Okay, I'll be right back. Yep, I knew it. Dolly wants to go out. Let me have a sip of my coffee. Rachel says we did shopping on a weekend, usually on Sunday, where we're in town, but we didn't shop day to day or anything. Right, so 20 minutes, it doesn't sound too bad, because some people live so remote from shops. They have to drive like, you know, an hour to local supermarket. And also, where you are, do you get deliveries? Like, you know, grocery deliveries. That's an option as well. All right, next. There are a few ninja stitches here, but not too bad. I think this one might be one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. 3816. 3816. There's some really beautiful green and blue colors in this piece. I really enjoy them. Like this one, it's kind of, you know, greenish blue. I love the shade of these blues. Betty says we don't do daily shopping. We make and keep list and go once a week. Yes, I think if it's a, you know, a little bit of a long way, you probably want to plan. Yes, I think it's all down to the type of location, work, the type of place you live in. Because I'm just so used to having shops literally just, you know, 3 minutes away. My nearest supermarket is about 3-4 minutes walking distance. So I don't have to buy a lot, you know. I mean, me and Mr. Yogi, we just get bits and pieces on the way home every day. And that's about it. So we don't do like a big shopping trips. Rarely. Maybe once in a while, if we have to prepare something, then we might go and get more. But otherwise, we just literally just buy some, tomatoes, a few avocados and bits and pieces. And for sort of household stuff, like, loose, not loose, toilet papers, that kind of stuff that, you need from time to time, then we get Amazon grocery to deliver those, boring stuff like tins, that kind of stuff, and maybe cat food, heavy items, and we get delivery. But fresh ingredients, we just buy bits and pieces every day, most days anyway. I've been parking very little, actually. I literally just keep stitching. But you can't really do that if you live really far away from shops. Yes, Betty. So Betty's talking about bicycles with petrol powered motor attached. Wouldn't that be a moped? That's not a bicycle. Because moped is kind of in between, isn't it? You can pedal, but it's powered with fuel. Tiger says, "Oh, referring to Minecraft, really?" Tiger says, "I think they're taking away the end dragon, but I'm not sure why will they do that." Well, the problem is a lot of people, when they beat the dragon, they feel like they've done it, even though you can keep playing the game forever. But, well, the thing is, I'm waiting for them to come up with something new that fundamentally change the way you play the game. Because I think the game has been around long enough that people who have played the game for a little while, they're probably finding, that it's kind of a lack of motivation to go back because they've done it all. Alison says, "Evening, everyone. Been lurking, but finished stitching now. Was working on rainy days and reach the dark." Oh, great to see you, Alison. Amanda, hello. Amanda says, "My husband biked to work for years. We lived we live on a mountain. I can't imagine that much uphill biking, or really having to spend that much time outside doing physical activities." Oh, are you referring to the Denmark lifestyle? Yes, I think for people in the rest of the world, it's quite hard to relate to because we are, conditioned to think that, if you grow up and you earn some money, you try to buy a house, and that, you want a nice house, you want a bit of garden, you want 3 bedrooms or whatever, and because that is your home, isn't it? And that's your base. But people in Denmark, they don't think that way. A home is just somewhere that you sleep over. Your life is outside. You do everything outside. You socialize outside. You put a baby outside. Because no one wants to steal them. Amanda says our next city over does a natural gas powered public buses. What is that? Natural gas. Is that different from regular petrol? What's natural gas? I mean, the most natural gas is produced by human. Okay. Um, I know Dolly's such a diva. She's like going, well, I need to go out now. I don't care if you're streaming. I don't care if you're busy, mummy. You know, Dolly first. That's always the case. Okay, let me come back here. One stitch, literally just single stitch here. A34, A34. Quite a few ninja stitches, not too confetti, but bits and pieces, kind of just single stitches, lone stitches. A34. And X Mark says, I've never realized how much more confetti heavy mini versions of charts are. Yes, I think it's slightly misleading for people to think that mini is easier to stitch. All it is less stitches. But it doesn't mean less confetti. You probably get more, because if you do the maths, right, X marks, that mini, well, at least for Heaven and Earth, it's got the same number of colors as regular charts. With stitches so beautiful, it varies. I mean, smaller pieces have less colors. I think so. Small for this one that I'm stitching, it's 110 colors. Whereas I think regular charts of this pattern would be probably, I don't know, 150, something like that. So, you know, the number of colors grows a little bit. But for Heaven and Earth, it's the same number of colors for both mini and regular. So if you work out the numbers, you probably have more color changes, right? That makes sense. Let me end this thread here. A34. Betty says, here in America, our electricity just isn't reliable enough. We can go without it for days. Really? Electricity. Betty says we can go without for days, for a day or weeks at a time, being off. Even now it's go off almost daily, yet the prices have risen. Really? Electricity goes off every day. Is that common in America? That just sounds a little bit unusual, because, you know, if you think about it, some people rely on electricity for medical equipment, etc. I mean, if they just go on and off on a regular basis, wouldn't that create problems for people's health and lives sometimes? All right, 898. So I'm dealing with a little bit mini confetti situation here. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. But there are a few sort of single stitches. 898. But if you look at this pattern, there's probably no need for confetti, really. You know, they're really bold patterns and colors. Needles, hello. Says, hi everyone. Glad to be here. This week has been very hectic for me. Time to relax. Yes, find time to relax for sure. That's what we're doing here. Take a breath and, you know, do what we love. Janine, hello. I was just talking about you. So where's Janine? The class has started. And Janine says, hello, Yogi and chat and Dolly. Did you miss me? I heard my name twice when I was driving. Were you driving? Yes. Yes. I was saying, where is Janine? Yes. And she says, work has been unbelievably stressful and busy this week. Oh, as you and me both. And no, I wouldn't say stressful for me because I'm doing what I love, but it has been a little bit hectic. The timetable is going a little bit crazy. I keep trying to cool it down, my timetable, but it's just going all over the place. Hopefully it's going to calm down in a week or two. I can't believe it's going to be September, guys. Where's time gone? Because it wasn't that long ago. We did a New Year marathon, didn't we? We were here. And, you know, I started my, what is it? That piece, Stitch is So Beautiful piece. That was my, no. New Year piece was Sleep Time. Well, Sleep Time. It doesn't feel like that long ago. And talking about sleep time, I really need to stitch that piece and make some progress there. I love that piece. But when September, can you believe it? What is happening with time? I don't know. Betty says, Yogi, even when I work 8 or more hours a day, I didn't want to ship before going home. I didn't want to ship before going home. Shop. Oh, shop. You didn't want to shop before going home. Ah, because you were tired? Oh, Lona is shocked by the end dragon situation. Maybe that's a rumor. I don't know. Maybe they're going to change it to something else. Maybe give it a different end game. That's probably a good idea, Lona. Do you not think? Because most people think if you beat the dragon, you're done with the game. Whereas if they give it a new ending, there's no ending with Minecraft really, but if they give it more of the end goal, maybe people will come back and play. Right? Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe something even more spectacular than the end dragon. 3371. If you don't know Minecraft, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. And that's quite okay. 3371. 3371. And I think what makes Minecraft quite interesting is the fact that it's a sandbox game. So, you know, because a lot of people, when I first played Minecraft, it's a computer game, okay, if you don't know what it is. Sandbox game is generally that you decide what to do. It's basically a world that you go in. They don't tell you what to do, and you have to create purpose for being there. So you have to create your own game, really. And even though, yes, there are mechanics, there are things that in-game, that's kind of, you know, same for everybody. And with Minecraft, I think for the first time people playing it, I have seen people basically just wandering around. They kind of go, what is the purpose of this game? Why am I here? Well, it's like the question we ask about life. And so you can make the game super actiony. You know, you can go and fight mobs like monsters. You can explore dungeons and do all sorts of things, or you can turn it into Stardew Valley pretty much. You can just do farming, you can, you know, just do crafting, try to build nice houses, and, you know, bring up animals. What have I just done? I just did something and it kind of deselected everything. It's happened before. It's a strange bug, I think. So it's a game that is, depends on who plays it. You could be doing very different things. And that's what makes it interesting, I think. So you can literally just turn into a farming game. Just farm. Alison says Aberdeen has hydrogen powered buses. Wow, really? So I think, you know, all the countries producing petrol, they're probably they're probably trying to find a new energy or something, a new job. Lona says, I'll never, in caps, I'll never be done with Minecraft. So much to build and do. I've cleared a mountain to put in a multi-level parking lot. What? You turn a beautiful mountain into a parking lot, as in parking car park. And underground garage. Well, Lona's big on cars. Underground garage. We're working garage doors, large crafting basements, but there's no cars in this game, is there? There are horses you can ride, but there's no cars, is there? You can't build a car, so why do you need car parks, Lona? You know, what for? I'm gonna keep doing. Oh, I'm gonna do a little bit over here. I think subconsciously I've been trying to avoid this gap because there's some ninja stitches here. But I'm gonna face it with courage. A nice 3-6, nice 3-6. But I think I gave Minecraft a pretty good go. You know, I explored most things at that time that were available. Amanda says natural gas is the fuel that many use to heat homes, fuel, stove, etc. Oh, the actual gas. Not petrol. I don't know. What are we talking about? And but you know, what I think is lacking for Minecraft, maybe it's deliberate, okay, but you know, depends on the version you play Minecraft with. If you play on computers, there are all sorts of modifications you can have that you can hack, you know, the base game. But I play on console, so it's vanilla, and I like it that way. I don't like mods, that kind of stuff. But there's one thing I've been craving for, but they just refuse to do. That is waypoint that you can put on a map. You know, on a map, on a PC version, I think you can place a marker. Like if you found a new location, you can place a marker and with names as well. name it. So for instance, if you come across a village, you can mark it on the map, if you have a map, and you can name it so you know where it is. You can come back to it. You can't do that with console version. They're hacks. You can place a marker, but you don't know what they are after a while. And a map can be very, very big. And I find that a little bit frustrating because you can never find anything, you know. And the maps become less useful because you can't mark locations. And for some reason, they just refuse to give console version that functionality. 936, 936. Heather House says, I was in Italy in February and I was surprised that people sat outside in all weather. Yes, yes. I mean, cafe culture is quite big in Europe, isn't it? Particularly in France, everybody's just sitting outside a lot. And over here, people tend to want to sit outside as well. I don't know about winter, maybe not in the winter, but in the summer, you know, any restaurants or cafe that's got outdoor space is just more popular. I think people just want to be out, but sometimes the outside is very close to the traffic, so there's a lot of, you know, fuel and dust and everything. Amanda says, 4 out of 5 of my family have been playing Minecraft for over a decade. I never ran out of things to do. Well, technically, you probably wouldn't, but after a while, you're kind of just repeating that cycle. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Once I beaten the dragon, I went on for a little bit, you know, to get the wings so I can fly. And that, you know, that was my goal for beating the dragon. So you can get like a pair of wings and you can fly around. But once I had the power to fly around, I kind of lost interest because I realized what makes Minecraft interesting is because it's difficult, it's challenging. You know, you could lose everything if you die, and you have to explore, you have to walk everywhere. There's no vehicles, you know, there's some limited ways you can sort of fast travel, but I don't like fast travel anyway. So you have to walk everywhere and discover things. And when I had gained the ability, when I got the wings, I realized I lost interest because I can just fly. It's just too easy. We don't like it easy. 3371, 3371. Human mind is interesting, you know. I think we are convinced that we want to be comfortable, we want life to be easy, but easy life is not good for you. You know, you don't want it to be overly challenging, like stressful, but we need challenges. 3371. It's 3371. Just one stitch here, and I'm going to park. Oh, that one I have done. It's this one I'm talking about. And Amanda says, for minis, you need to look for less colors as well. If you want the same amount of less colors for minimum confetti, I recharted some of my pieces to reduce the number of colors confetti. Well, because Amanda, you can do that because you're very experienced. You got the know-how. You've got you know what to do with it. But for most of us mortals, we wouldn't dare. Personally, I wouldn't even, crop out any part of the chart or try to modify it. It's just not something that most of us are able to do. But the thing is, though, I kind of like the fact that there are more colors. I know maybe as an end result, it probably doesn't really look that different. If you compare heaven and earth charts, maybe between, I don't know, regular colors versus max colors. If you compare them side by side, I'm guessing it's probably not that different because if it's well charted, it just looks great, right? But I think the number of colors for us is more of a mental challenge than anything else. 469, 469. Oh, is it chocolate time? Sorry, I'm slightly behind with the chat here. Yes, it's chocolate time. Let me just shred this one and we can have some chocolate or some snacks. Sola says the reason people in Denmark can't conceive of stealing kids is because of proper law enforcement. We don't have that here anymore. Human trafficking has taken over. Well, I don't know. I think it's a mentality thing because maybe for them, baby is more like extra responsibility. So why would you want to have a human baby? And there's another thing. Oops, sorry. Did I just hit my microphone there? Another thing about Denmark I learned, maybe it's quite common in North Europe, European countries. It's quite common for men to stay at home to take care of children if their pay happen to be less than the female, if you know what I mean. So they have no stigma or some sort of, a judgment around men staying at home looking after the children. If they're, two income family, for instance, and, the guy happens to have a job that's being paid a little bit less than women. So in order to pay for childcare, if both of them work, for instance, let me just read this over and then we can have a break. So for most countries, when you're a young couple having children and you probably want to pay for childcare, after a while, if both of them are working. But in Denmark, the idea is instead of paying for childcare, which is probably quite expensive, in Europe and including the UK as well, anything involves services done by human is expensive, like plumbing, like any kind of repair, anything that requires someone with skills to do is expensive. So it makes sense for the man to, if it happens to be a man, maybe if it's a female earning less, then it would be a female, but they are totally cool about a guy stay at home taking care of children because it makes sense financially. So, one of the parents, doesn't matter which one, can stay home and look after the baby. So I like that as well. It's quite freeing, isn't it? Because for a lot of countries, there is an idea about men having to be out there, be the breadwinner. They're not bothered about that. I quite like that. All right, let's have a bit of chocolate. Let's have a but today, oh, for me, chocolate break is actually dun 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 banana break. Yes. Yes, I need my banana fix. This one's from Colombia, it says. Yes, for me, banana break today. I've been craving for this banana. And so come join me, have a little bit of snacky. It doesn't matter what you're eating. We take a break. We take a break. Okay, let me just set this up. Suki says electricity is pretty reliable in Ohio. I didn't think electricity would be a problem for most countries because it's essential. It's not an optional thing. Broadband, on the other hand, is probably, you know, it can be a bit shaky in some places. But electricity, I didn't think it would be an issue. So power cut should be very, very rare. All right then, banana time. Yeah, come join me. And the great thing about banana break is we're not going to stain the fabric, right? It's unlikely. Can you get banana stain from your banana, I wonder? This is so pretty though. I have completed this little flower here. Ruby Rose says, I live in Florida and we never lose our electricity. Maybe somewhere more remote. I can imagine that. If you live somewhere that maybe connection or maintenance isn't as good, then, oh, this is not a pretty way to open a banana. Sincere apologies. There's a beautiful banana inside. You know what I learned from chat with bananas? The change. I wouldn't say change my life, but it was quite a revelation. Is putting bananas in the fridge. I never ever did that. Never ever did that. And they go off. Well, not go off. They go black very, very quickly within like 3 days. If I don't finish them, they go dark. Whereas now I heard someone mention in the chat, you know, particularly when it gets really hot recently, putting bananas in the fridge never ever crossed my mind. And I'm going to take a bite. Yum. And I've been putting my bananas in the fridge. And it does wonders. They keep for so long, probably 3-4 times longer. But the thing is though, I don't like chilled bananas because I'm just not used to it. So I would take the bananas out or maybe pop them in my bag if I go out. So by the time I eat them, they're room temperature. Or like this one, I took it out of the fridge like a couple of hours before. And look at the flesh, it's so white. Even though I think I bought these ones a couple of days ago. If I left them on the kitchen counter, they would be like all brown by now. So thank you, chat. That was a great tip. Never crossed my mind to put bananas in the fridge. But it keeps so much longer. See you later, Lizzie. Night-night. Sweet dream. Susan says, you'll be down to the funky tree, Yogi. What is bizarre? Am I turned into some sort of jungle animals? Lona is having banana as well. We're having banana bingo. Cheers, banana. Cheers, banana. No, cheers, Lona. Oh, I love banana. It's so good. And the power of food as well. So if you're a little bit peckish, it's so easy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to cook. Oh, there's a flying bug trying to steal my banana. Lucy says, I was wondering, did you decide on the start date for the Christmas in August piece? That would be my next purchase for sure. Lucy, Lucy, you've been following, Yogi for a little bit. You have heard me going on and on. Let me see if I can find. Oh, I just noticed Joyce has joined us as well. Sorry, I'm slightly behind the chat. So if I haven't said hello to you yet, hello. Okay, Lucy's asked a really good question. Lucy says, I was wondering, did you decide on a date for Christmas in August piece? Lucy, you were here for the Christmas in July marathon, right? So, yes, originally I wanted to stitch a different piece. Originally, I wanted to stitch the chart based on my own artwork. And I couldn't meet the deadline, okay? So Lucy's saying that what is the chart I'm going to be stitching for the Christmas in August. Lucy, I'll be totally honest with you. I don't know if it's going to be Christmas in August, okay? But news update, everyone. Breaking news. Breaking news. You know the artwork I showed you a little bit earlier? Well, I showed you two pieces before. The second piece, not the Advent calendar, the other one, the Christmas for Tea Lovers. That's the working title. I think I've finished it. Well, a little bit of polishing to go, but I think I've finished the overall, the bits, other than the final polishing. I think it's finished, Lucy. So, I'm hoping to be able to chart it within the next week or two. And I'll give you an update on how it goes, my charting. And then I would like to do a sew on that piece. If some of you want to join me, if you like the chart, I'll show you then. Some of you have seen a little bit like the previous draft. So, Lucy, to answer your question, and I just finished my banana, and that would be my next start. I'm determined to have that as my next start. And so, yes, I don't know whether it's going to be within August, but probably sometime in September for sure. So that's my goal. So I hope you maybe you can join me. So that's the answer for you. I know it's taken a lot longer than I thought with the artwork and everything, but now I know the amount of work that needs to go in for each artwork. So now I can sort of gauge the time a little bit more realistically. Lona says, Yogi, as long as I can craft and build, I don't really care about the end dragon, but I don't want them to take it out either. Have you finished the end dragon before? I bet you have. If you've been playing for decades, you probably beat the dragon many times. But I think, for the game to have a renewed kind of energy to it, and also draw not just new gamers, but maybe people play in the past to want to come back, they probably need to add something a bit more major than just adding new animals and new items, I mean, you can only do that much. And Suzanne says, Alex builds tons of stuff in Minecraft. I think Minecraft is basically digital Legos with plus, with a lot more. But I think if you like Legos, you probably like Minecraft. Amanda probably referring to Minecraft as well, says, I don't mind additions to games, but I totally resent when stuff change completely or things take out. I usually stop playing when that happens. Well, what if they put in really good things, interesting things, and then maybe take out things that just been around for a long time and replacing that element. So End Dragon, if they take the dragon out, I think they're going to put another something else in. Maybe just, you know, a new version. I don't know. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Bananas and coffee, they go together really well. Right, I really enjoy that banana. And this one just one stitch. Why did I do another one? Oh no, this is just one stitch, literally. I'm gonna end it. Let me just zoom in. Literally just one stitch. Do I want to park? I don't know. No, maybe not. Too far away. And cross across. Hello. Says, I really like your project. Greeting from Spain. Good evening to you. Thank you. 469, 469. And welcome. Sola says, with an easy life, you turn into a blob mentally and physically. We need challenges. Absolutely. I think it's a myth that we want an easy life. We don't. I think, you know, we need challenges, but good challenges. I think people crave for kind of, you know, fantasize about retiring because maybe the job itself, there are elements they don't enjoy, so it becomes a grind, and you can't wait for it to stop. But if you're doing something that's meaningful and fulfilling for you, then you want it to be challenging and fun, you know. All right, another ninja stitch. Just there are quite a few around this area for some reason. 3022. 30. Lona says, Yogi, you can get an add-ons that let you operate different vehicles. Well, I don't like that. Lona, I'm a purist when it comes to games. I don't like add-ons. I don't mind DLCs. That's different. I don't mind if it's part of, you know, the main game. But I don't like mods. Any games that, you know, you can add mods. With a lot of PC games, you can add all sorts, like third-party ones created by people, etc. I never had any of them added to the games because I'm a purist. I like to experience the games that's kind of intended to be by creators. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. One stitch, just one stitch here. Solar says that's the case here too. The lesser wage earner stays home, no stigma. And remind me where you are, Solar. And that's good because sometimes, we kind of bow to social judgment and pressure and do a lot of things actually not very sound in reality. Michelle says, Yogi, whenever you teach a lot of classes, you crave bananas. Take care of yourself. You're quite right, Michelle. You're quite right. Yes, Michelle is totally correct. Because I went through a kind of banana craze period when I was really busy. And then it kind of slowed down a little bit. So I was eating less banana. And every time, yes, you're quite right, Michelle. What do you think that is? Because it's bananas got potassium, and clearly, well, the more classes you teach, you probably sweat more. That's probably normal. But yeah, because banana for me is not just I eat them not because they taste good. They do taste good, but there's a physical need for bananas. Am I the only one, Michelle? Yes, Michelle, thank you for the reminder. Yes, yes, indeed. It seems to go with the my timetable. Yes. I wonder what that is. Amanda says mashed banana stain baby clothes with a sort of green color stain. Yes, it's possible to have banana stain. That would be a new one for me. And Betty's in Tennessee. Oh, with the electricity like outage frequently. Heather says when bananas are shipped, they're refrigerated. Interesting. So if they're refrigerated, I think a lot of fruits as well, if you need to import from someone else. But the thing is, when they're out of the fridge, they still stay relatively fresh. Is that why bananas go off so quickly? Because they've been chilled, when they're being shipped, and then back to room temperature, they just go off. They ripe really quickly. Lucy says, I'm here for LaSalle. Can't wait to join you and purchase your wonderful piece. Thank you. I hope, it's going to turn out wonderfully, Lucy. It's an adventure for me. It's a new challenge for me. And doing the artwork has been a joy. It's very time consuming, I have to admit. And but, I hope it's worth it. And the charting is another element of an adventure. So thank you for your support and your witnessing the evolution of Yogi. It's a surprise for me as well. When I started the channel, I never even dreamed that, or even crossed my mind, I'll be creating charts. But live is a funny thing. 470. Thank you, Lucy. And Susan Barn as well says, I'm in for LaSalle. Thank you, Susan. I hope you'll like the chart. I love it, but I'm biased. I'm just creating charts I want to stitch. That's it. It's very selfish. Lona says, Yogi, yes, I've beaten the end dragon, but I played the game for crafting and building abilities. Yes, I do enjoy that element as well. It's just eventually you kind of, not that you run out of things to do, but it feels like you've done it before. So I'm just craving for 470. And X marks it's done 200 stitches.